I'm Luke.
And I'm Tyler.
And this is Mixed to Tape,
the podcast where we talk about audio, from recording to mastering and everything else in between.
We're here to start discussions and help answer your questions.
Let's get started.
Hello, Tyler.
Hey, Luke, how's it going?
It's going. It's going.
Good.
School's starting up next week.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Our neighbor just sent their second child off to their first year of college.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they have one more to go.
Did you hear what happened at Cornell?
I did not.
So all the, like, I'll call them workers, staff workers, blue collar workers, I put with big quotation marks. But you're like janitors, you're people who serve food at the cafeteria, are all under a union, and contract negotiations broke down Sunday night, and they all went on strike today.
So you brown bagged it today.
So yeah,
carry in, carry out. Is that
so? You have these freshmen showing up from like across the world, and there's nobody to serve them food and nobody to take out their trash. There's people protesting in the streets. It's wild here.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good
but everything's them. I mean, on the one hand, it's great. I'm happy for them. I'm always solidarity for union people. But on the other hand, no protests up at Ithaca College.
Yeah, for sure.
How are you doing?
Good. Last week was a little nutty. We had 2 of our 4 family members went to the ER on 2 separate nights. Everyone's good now, but it was one heck of a week. Let me tell you that.
You're just trying to hit that deductible.
Yeah, right. I got a long ways to go. I know, it was like, it happened, the first one was on Tuesday, and then it was on Thursday, and I was like, am I next? I still think I am going to be next. I don't know what it's going to be, but like, I'm walking very cautiously, just like, not overthinking things, but just being more precautious about what I'm doing. I feel like it's like another version of Final Destination.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not as good on paper because, you just end up in the ER and you're like, you're still okay at the end.
Right. Got to pay a crap load of money to the doctor.
Yeah. Pre-Final Destination.
I just have to figure out who the person is that foresees what's going to happen to me, right? Is that what, I forget how that movie worked. It was something like that. It was one person saw how everyone was going to die.
Yes.
Kind of.
See, now I completely forgot the plot, and you said that, and it's like, yes. Now I remember. Yeah,
do you know what's going to happen to me, Luke?
I don't know what's going to happen to me in like 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Well, I'm not asking about you.
My brain's fried right now. So what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about peripherals, things that help us work more efficiently, get things done quicker, so we can have time at the end of the day to spend with our families. And in the ER, if you're in my family.
Or to do more work, if you're of that persuasion.
Yeah.
What kind of peripherals do you like?
I like both tactile ones that I can get my hands on, and also things that run in the background, really. So automated, like macros.
Ooh.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I like both kinds. Software
and
hardware.
What's your favorite tactile kind?
Well, when I'm mixing, I really do love having a fader bank, so I can get my hands at least to get a static mix. Mm-hmm. So I use the Artist Mix, the Avid Artist Mix from God. They don't make them anymore, but mine still works great, and I feel like I can't live without it. Mm-hmm. Like if I have it turned off and I'm starting a mix, I'm like, I can't click on faders and do this. I cannot do it.
It's 8 faders.
8 faders, yeah.
And it's connected to the computer through MIDI, so you can just like slide the faders around. Is it through MIDI?
No, it's not MIDI. No, it's Yukon.
Yukon.
Right? Yes. So yeah, it's connected via Ethernet to the computer, and it uses Yukon to control banks of 8 faders in Pro Tools, and it's great.
Okay.
I don't get too crazy into like programming it, because since I only have 8 faders, I like to be able to jump around in Pro Tools. The way I have it set up is I click on one track in Pro Tools, and that'll show up as fader 1 on
Hmm.
my artist mix. But you can like do presets, you can do snapshots and stuff. But if I had more faders, I would do that. But I just don't do that. I don't have the time it takes to set that up. Doesn't benefit me at all. I want to go in, do a rough mix or a static mix.
And you do
And
a lot of like rides and stuff on it too.
I do, but the thing with with artist mix is that there's latency.
Oh.
So the more plugins you have, your fader moves, there's latency in your fader moves. Yeah,
Ugh.
exactly. Yeah, I know. So sometimes I do moves and stuff, and you can nudge it back a little bit, you know.
Okay.
But I mean, I so even with the latency, I'll still do like lead vocal rides and stuff on the fader,
Okay.
or bring stuff up, you know. But yeah, it's crazy that they haven't figured a way to get rid of that.
Are there other more current solutions that work better?
I don't yet. There are more current solutions. There's like the S1 and S3, I believe,
Okay.
but I'm not sure how they deal with latency. I would hope and pray that they have that figured out.
Yeah.
You know, because it is a huge drag, but it's one I could work around.
Yeah. Anyone wants to send us a free sample to demo?
Yes. So yeah, it's great. I love it. It works. Every once in a while, the networking, like the connection will drop out, and I'll just have
Mhm.
to kind of set it up again. But it only takes like 30 seconds to do that. But otherwise, it's pretty bulletproof, rock
Okay.
solid. Yeah,
Rock and roll.
yeah, yeah, man. What about you?
I don't have anything tactile,
Yeah,
but maybe if I did more mixing, I'd probably get some faders.
yep.
Working at the studio for so long really made me love faders. But then again, like all the mixes I think I've ever done, I've just done with like keyboard and mouse, and I'm just like
Hmm.
kind of used to it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
do a lot of that clicking away. You know,
yeah,
for a lot of things, it is a lot faster. You know,
but but if I had 48 faders in front of me,
yeah,
I'd be all over that.
yeah, for sure.
No, I don't know. I don't really have a lot of the tactile stuff. I think most of the peripheral kind of stuff that I use is going to be like keyboard and mouse related,
Yeah,
honestly. I have can I talk about my keyboard?
please do. Is it a mechanical keyboard?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Um, okay, look, mini tirade. I don't understand the mechanical keyboard thing. They're so loud.
I know.
Why do you want this in your life? I'm trying to make my life quieter. And then I remember talking to somebody, and it's like, your keyboard, the keys have to travel really far,
Yeah,
right? They have to travel a long ways down. And I asked somebody about that. They're like, yeah, but you can like tweak the keyboard. So like if you just gently press on the key, it'll trigger. And I was like, that's just a membrane keyboard with extra steps. Why are you doing this to
right.
yourself? So I have the Logitech the Master, I think it's the MX Master keyboard or something like that.
Yep.
It's wireless. It's got a backlight in it. You got to charge it every uh, you know 2 weeks or so,
Yep.
which is a bit of a bummer. But the keys feel awesome. They feel really really great. In fact, they felt a little too great, and I was accidentally triggering keys when I first got it. It took me like a week to get used to it,
Yeah.
but they feel so good.
Did you like sprinkle some sand in there so it wouldn't be so sensitive?
Oh my God, no, absolutely not. I baby this thing.
Oh,
um, but it's got my number pad on the side, a whole bunch of function keys on the top that I can mess around with and trigger and things like that. So I love this thing. I love this keyboard. I don't know.
yeah.
But for me, honestly, most important thing I think for any computer keyboard is the number pad.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much functionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
When I'm on
it's-
my laptop and I don't have it, I can't. It drives me nuts.
Yeah. Window configs, marker numbers. I
Transport.
transport, right. Like I was just gonna say, like I trigger recording with 3 and I'll stop and start with 0. And that's just where my hand is parked
Yeah.
pretty much if I'm not
Yeah.
using the mouse. I don't know how you function without a number pad and
Yeah.
work professionally in Pro Tools. I honestly don't.
I don't think you do.
What else do you like? Tactile
I
stuff.
guess
What kind of...
I guess talking about keyboards, are you a mouse or a trackball guy?
Oh, mouse.
Okay.
Hardcore mouse.
Okay.
I think I'm one of the few engineers,
Or are
but
you doing trackpad?
I can't do trackpad.
Okay.
But I cannot do trackball. Like when I'm teaching at school, all we have is trackballs. I will bring in my own mouse
Yeah.
so that I can.
I'm a trackball guy.
I know you are.
Yeah.
Why do you like trackballs?
I don't know. I think when I was coming up, everyone was using them, and I kind of like forced myself to use them as well. And I just got used to it, and I just like not having to like move my hand around, just like move my fingers around. And I think I've just been using it for so long that I'm just so used to it. If I have like a Mighty Mouse, I will cut the cord on that thing or take the batteries out.
Look, I'm right there with you.
But yeah, trackball guy. But that being said, I like it, but it hurts my wrist every once in a while. So I want to look into getting a trackball where my hand is kind of more rotated like this.
Yeah, one of those like
not a joystick. No, I'm not there yet.
No.
Yeah.
No, yeah, the sideways mouse thing. I remember those.
Yeah. They have like the smaller ball. I think like with any mouse now, you can program it and have some functionality besides right click, left click, right?
I've been a big fan of the Logitech laser mice that they've come out with. There was I'm not going to go through the whole history. The one I'm using now is the MX Master, which I know is what I called the keyboard. It's not what the keyboard is called. The keyboard's the nice one, but the mouse is definitely the MX Master. Wireless. The battery lasts about like 2 months, a month or 2 months. It's got like a shitload of buttons on it, which is really nice. It's got the horizontal scroll as well as the vertical scroll.
Yep.
The scroll wheel can toggle between a click or a smooth scroll, which is really fun.
Ooh, that's nice.
The thumb pad on it can be depressed, and then you can move the mouse around and you can create gestures, right?
Oh, okay.
So, like if you want to open mission control, see all your apps, I can click down on the thumb pad and push the mouse forward, and it will open up mission control for me.
Whoa.
Obviously, if I'm using Pro Tools, I have a totally different set of keyboard or of mice shortcuts, so the buttons will do different things.
Yep.
So the little button below my scroll wheel turns into my my zoom toggle.
Yep.
It's the F5 key, essentially, I put right there. There's backwards and forwards buttons on it, so if I'm in Firefox, I can go backwards or forwards in web pages or, I think the reason that I can use the laser mouse and I'm okay is because I turn up the sensitivity relatively high.
Yeah.
And so I'm like whipping that thing around and I don't really have to move it a whole lot.
Right.
I'm so used to it, like it honestly doesn't feel that bad to me, but I've handed my mouse to other people and they're like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah, right. It's like you move it like a centimeter and it's like across the screen.
Yeah. But I think that's why I can kind of get away with it, because a lot of times I think you use trackballs because you're kind of stuck with a very small amount of real estate to move your mouse around in a studio. And I think trackballs just sort of make sense because you pretty much have like a 4x4 inch spot to put the mouse. But with my laser mouse, I'll make that work.
Yeah, right.
Do you have that? Are you using that Kensington trackball thing?
Yep.
See, those are nice because you can always, if anybody's pissing you off, you can pick up that trackball and you can whip it at them.
Oh, yeah. Never thought of that, but good point.
Yep.
Maybe that's how I'll end up in the ER.
Megan starts getting tired of your sass. And
yeah.
What else? What else do you like? What other tactile things?
Tactile things. I have a Stream Deck and I love it.
Tell me why you love your Stream Deck.
Because I could just put things there, and instead of like putting my hands on the keyboard or like trying to memorize all the modifiers for different key commands and stuff to trigger macros, I just have a button I can push.
Okay. Does it like light up different icons and stuff when you use it?
Yes, I can put different icons on it.
Oh, that's cool.
It's great. It's really good. It takes a minute to program it and get everything how you like it, but things that you do every single day, it's just like it saves time. in the long run. It's great. So I have it for, I mainly use it for Finder. So I can just like open up project folders with a one click of a button.
Okay.
So for Sesame Street, it's buried within like, four different levels of folders.
Yeah.
So instead of like clicking through all the folders, I can just click, okay, here's my tracking folders. Here's my mix folders. Here's the stuff that I'm
Oh,
intending
yeah,
to
yeah.
post with just one click, and it's just there.
Okay.
And they go to the one part of the screen, and they size to the right size and all that stuff.
That's cool.
Yes. For my browser, I have websites, whatever I use for like file transfers, for data entry and stuff. It's all just there, you know.
Okay.
And then Pro Tools, a lot of people now are using Stream Decks with SoundFlow, which is a subscription-based program where you can build macros within it. And they get really under the hood of Pro Tools, and you can do some really cool things with it easily.
Okay.
But if you want to learn and maybe take more time to like learn how things are working under the hood, is what I decided to do, is you can use it in conjunction with Keyboard Maestro,
Okay.
right? So that's
So
how
you're
I use it.
You're triggering Keyboard Maestro shortcuts with your Stream Deck.
Yes.
That feels a little heretical,
Yes. But it's very easy to do.
little blasphemous.
Yeah. And I was just like, SoundFlow has some really cool things, and I kind of miss it a little bit, but I was like, I don't feel like paying another $10 a month for another thing, first of all.
The Stream
And
Deck's
then
a subscription, right?
Stream Deck is not. It's just the
Okay.
hardware.
Okay.
But Stream Deck does have software that you use to program it with, but you don't pay for that.
Okay.
You get that when you buy the unit. And then also, I felt that the way you built macros in SoundFlow was very clunky, and it was always frustrated me how to like make a macro in it. Where with the Keyboard Maestro, it's maybe it's because I've been using it for so long, but I feel like it's very solid, and it just works how you think it's going to work. You know.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest. I had not really seen much of a use for a Stream Deck, but you've kind of.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it now.
It's great. They're a little pricey, but you can get a used one. I have a 3x5, and I wish I got a bigger one. Get
Yeah.
a bigger one. I'm telling you. But I think this one was like maybe 150 or something like that. So it's like, it's not like super expensive, but it's not like $50, you know. But you
Yeah.
can find used ones for relatively cheap.
Okay.
And then, or you can get multiples. You know, I can get another 3x5 one and have that just be dedicated for something else. You know what I mean?
Have it set right next to it.
The possibilities are endless.
You could get some gaff tape, tape them together, and then it's like you have a 3x10.
Yeah. Sure. So that, I think we both have this on our list. So that brings us to our next.
Yeah, we have to talk about Keyboard Maestro.
Yes. Have
I
to.
mean,
I couldn't live without it. I mean, I could, and I do when I go other places, and it just irks me.
I don't.
It's-
When I go to other places, I demand Keyboard Maestro.
Yeah, I should start doing that. I have, just for Pro Tools, what do I have here? Where's
Oh,
the
yeah,
give you a
let me-
total? 197.
Okay, that's a lot better than mine.
But it's kind of like not duplicate things, but yeah, that's how many I have.
How many can I count here?
On the bottom, and I'll show you.
I have 22.
Oh, Luke.
Like
Come
a little
on.
baby.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, what'll happen is I'll make a lot of like macros for a specific purpose, and then I'll probably just delete them.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so for those who don't know what Keyboard Maestro is a macro creator. So what that means is you can create your own keyboard shortcuts within Keyboard Maestro. And what that can look like is something as simple as like triggering a menu option that doesn't have a keyboard shortcut. I have a bunch of shortcuts for like toggling between minutes and seconds versus bars and beats versus time code for my timeline. And
You
then
can jump in for 1 sec. I think
Yes.
in the new Pro Tools with the new shortcut manager, you can program it there.
yes, you can program it there. The reason I like Keyboard Maestro though is because I can do this for every app on my computer.
Mm.
So I have keyboard shortcuts for Finder. I have
Yes,
keyboard shortcuts for
absolutely.
Firefox.
Yep.
I have keyboard shortcuts for my music player, you know. And then you can also do incredibly complex things. You can do like do this, then this, then this, then this, then this kind of things within
Right.
Keyboard Maestro. So
It could
I
trigger
remember,
Apple scripts and everything. And
yeah,
yeah.
you know, when we were at Avatar, because we were always working in the narrow view mode in the on the mix window, it was very hard to read track labels. So we always wanted to copy our track labels to the comments section
Right.
underneath so that we could read, you know, whatever track we were looking at. You have a 60 track session. That's a very, very, very tedious thing to do.
Right.
We had a whole keyboard shortcut that was you trigger the shortcut would immediately pop up with how many times do you want me to do this? We would say 60 times, and it would go through and it would copy, down, paste. Next one, copy,
Yep.
down, paste. And it would do that 60 times and it would do it within like 10 seconds.
Yeah. And you can have a sip of your coffee.
Yeah. And you would always have like somebody who was there who had never seen something like this before. They'd
Yeah.
be like, "Holy shit, how'd you do that?" And it's like, you know, I'm just good, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't live without that thing anymore. I'm like when I use Pro Tools now, when I'm trying to teach Pro Tools, I have to. It's hard
Yeah.
because I can't use a lot of these shortcuts that I use all the time because
Right.
that's not part of Pro Tools. So I can't believe you have over 100. That's
Yeah.
nuts.
A bunch of them are inactive, but
Okay.
that's how many I have created. And I think I made a lot of them inactive because I did move over to the Pro Tools
Mm.
interface with their shortcut manager.
Yeah, the other reason well, hold on. Can you copy those keyboard shortcuts from Pro Tools, from your Pro Tools to another Pro Tools?
You know, I have only tried a little bit. I haven't put much effort into doing that, but there's no, like, I'm just opening it up right now.
Uh-huh.
No, it doesn't look like it. I
So,
think you can find the file
okay.
buried in, you know, Pro Tools, and maybe pull that out, but there's no like export. Oh no, wait, there is. Yes, there is. I lied. I'm
Okay.
a liar. You can do
Okay.
that.
You're not a liar. You didn't intend to lie. You didn't intend to distort the truth.
I misled us.
Okay, that's fair. I'll allow it.
So yes, you can do that.
Where can you change the keyboard shortcuts?
You go to Setup,
Set up
Keyboard
shortcuts. Or Control Shift K
Okay, fancy
if
pants.
if you want to use a keyboard shortcut. Okay. So yeah, I see export as text.
Yep.
But then can you import?
Yeah, import settings,
Okay.
save settings as.
Okay.
I would hope that it's not just like a. But what do the presets do?
You can save different shortcuts depending on if you're recording or mixing.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe. All right, I'm gonna hit cancel.
Yeah. I'll say that that's actually one thing I really like about Keyboard Maestro is it's so easy to export and import a library, and then you're
Yeah,
not
it's
like
very easy.
you're not reprogramming keyboard shortcuts at like a major studio somewhere.
Or you can have like, your own folder.
Yeah. Right.
And make
I
it
can
active
just
or inactive.
I use keyboard Maestro. I just pull in all my own shortcuts, and then I can just deactivate my shortcuts, or I can just uninstall keyboard Maestro at the end of the day,
Yep.
depending on the studio.
Yep.
So
Um,
it feels simpler to me, but yes, both are an option.
Do you have like top two or maybe like top five keyboard Maestro things that you use on the daily that you can't live without?
Delete track,
Yep.
being able to very quickly just delete a track. I have a whole little shortcut that I use for when I'm editing this podcast.
Tell me more.
So when one of us isn't talking, I will put in copy in room tone, just basically copy in silence. So any sort of background noises or anything don't distract from whoever's talking. We're looking behind the curtain now. So I will basically have, as I'm editing, my room tone under my track and your room tone under your track. And so when you're not talking, I'll select that section, and then I hit a shortcut, and it will toggle down to your room tone, copy from the same selection that I make, go back up to yours, and paste.
Will it put crossfades in also?
No, I put crossfades in at the end with just the batch crossfade.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes I'll see it and I'll want to do my own manual crossfades, and
Yep.
then I'll do the batch crossfade. That's just a short, like 50 millisecond crossfade, and that works fine.
Do you use a strip silence to get?
No, I do it all manually. But just that like simple like da 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 thing,
Oh yeah.
I'm not reinventing anything here. I'm just like I just very quickly went to grab this selection, toggle down, copy, toggle back up, paste.
Yeah, I always tell myself if I'm doing something more than like 5 times, I'm
Mm-hmm.
like I'm gonna just stop. I'm gonna take 10 minutes. I'm gonna program it, and I can just do it with a press of a button.
I think my favorite way to show off Keyboard Maestro was it was a technique I learned when I was editing for a great engineer one time, and he wanted me to take a snare sample that he had and drop it in every time the real snare hit, drop in a snare sample directly underneath it.
Right.
There's a lot of snare hits in a single song, right? So I had it set up to, I would hit a button, it would tab to transient, drop down to the snare sample track, paste the snare sample, and put my cursor back up to the original snare track. Very simple, very quick thing.
Yeah.
But it could do that so quickly that I could drop the first like 10 snare samples. I could hit play at the beginning of the song, and I could stay ahead of the playhead, because I could just hit paste, 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 and it would just tab to transient, go down, paste it, tab back up, tab to transient. And I could just, the playhead would chase me and I would win.
Nice.
And so the guy could mix while I was dropping samples, and from his perspective, I had already done the job in 10 seconds.
It's like the Steven Slate trigger app, but manually.
Yeah. What are some of your favorites?
I do a lot of for Sesame Street. I have to prep anywhere between like 20 and 40 cues for a session. So that means looking at the score, looking at the tempo map, looking at the meter, and entering that into my Pro Tools session so I can print a click and we can play to it. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, everything is as the composer had envisioned it, and it's in the right time, right? So I have a quick key to change tempo, change meter, renumber bars with just like a press of a button.
Oh, so it'll do all three of those with one button.
I won't do them in one time, but like I can hit, the key to do tempo, and I can type the tempo in, and then I can do the meter.
Okay.
Right. And then all of my markers for that, I put like, Q1, 8 clicks to measure 1. Mm-hmm. It's shortened up a little bit, but I have a key combo that I use to, I type in what marker number I want, mm-hmm. and then I can hit a combination of modifiers, and it will paste in Q1, 8 to 1. You know what I mean? So I'm like typing that in for each cue.
That's cool.
And the same thing. So that's for the recording part. And then when I drop the cues under the timeline, I have another modifier that I use to just paste in cue number 1 for marker 1. And then for Q2, it'll just paste in Q2, for marker number 2. You catch what I'm saying?
Highly specialized.
Yes. So later when I want to like go between the recording of Q5 and where Q5 is going to live in the timeline, I don't have to like, oh, where is that again? I don't have to mess with my marker thing. I know exactly what, marker numbers those are, because it's very logical,
Yeah. Whenever I got your Sesame Street sessions, because I, covered, one or two for you, and it was always really logical. Yeah. Once I understood the madness, it was like, right. Okay, this makes sense.
So that I use that all the time, which is like a huge time saver, because I don't think there's a quicker way to change tempo besides clicking or using like the clunky, tempo operations thing, which just feels clunky to me. And then another one I use all the time is exporting like files from Pro Tools. So I'll either be exporting at like 48K, 24-bit WAV files, or I'll do MP3s. But I have a macro set up through Keyboard Maestro where I can click 48K 24-bit, and it'll just click everything that I want and hit OK. Mm. So I'm not like clicking down 4 menus. It's just like, and it doesn't, I can just sit there and watch it, or for MP3, And sometimes it's like the same amount of time as it would be for me to click that, but I don't have to like do the movements with my hand, and it just saves pain, in
Yeah,
my
I,
wrist.
it was, man, every click is like mental
Yeah.
energy.
It's all
I
about
get it.
me and the guy that I work with on Sesame Street, who composes the underscoring and orchestrates the songs. It's just we always talk about saving clicks.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else? I sure I got another good one that I use all the time. Oh, I have it saved as a Melodyne pre-roll, but so
Okay.
pretty much is like when I start melodyning, I put pre-roll to one or two measures depending on the tempo,
Yeah.
right? So instead of like clicking up to the pre-roll thing, typing it in, I have a shortcut on my Stream Deck where I press it and it says, how many bars of pre-roll would you like? And so I enter one or two or however many I want and I hit enter and it opens up the floating transport window. It puts in whatever value I entered in
Hmm.
and then it closes that and then it puts it into the timeline. I forget what it's called. Timeline follows playback.
Yeah.
So it does that in all in one click. So then I can just start tuning and I have my pre-roll in there all already.
Insertion follows playback.
Insertion follows playback.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, it's not, if you do it once, it's not that big of a deal, but it's just easy. It
Yeah.
makes my life
It's just
easier.
nicer.
Yeah, and I have one where I have like I use Beat Detective a lot.
Okay.
So I have one where I have like Beat Detective kind of exploded out on my Stream Deck where I can just kind of like do all the things here on my Stream Deck with minimal clicking.
I feel like such a Neanderthal over here. I'm just like dicking around with
Yeah.
keyboard maestro and that's it.
And if anybody's interested in any of my Keyboard Maestro shortcuts, I will be more than happy to share them with you.
All 100 of them.
197 of them to be exact.
197. Almost 200 of them. What do you like to use to back up your stuff?
I used to use, God, I forgot the name of it. SyncX. What was it called? We use it. We use it all the time.
What's it? Sync X? Synchronize X?
Synchronize X Pro or something. Anyway,
Something
that's
like
what I
that.
used to use.
That was great.
And then they stopped supporting it, and then so now I use ChronoSync, and
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, ChronoSync is like it's so complex, but it'll do whatever you need it to do, I think.
Yes, just read the manual.
Yeah, like you definitely need to like it's hard to create a very quick and simple backup with it, I find. There's a lot of
Yes.
clicking.
Yeah.
But once you get that backup saved and set, it's like it's great. Like
And you
I
can
have
save backups as templates for
yeah.
future backups, which is pretty cool.
You can schedule backups. So, I have like all of my pictures, all of my Pro Tools folder, all of my Pro Tools drives are all backed up to one big hard drive. That'll happen separately. It'll do them like one at a time, but yeah, you can set all that up and it's really nice. So, yeah, I'm a fan of
Yeah,
Chronosync.
I've been meaning to do scheduled backups, and it's like finding the 10 or 15 minutes to do it, and I just don't do it.
I'll send you a keyboard maestro.
I'll send you some of mine too.
I'll send you one that will make your own backup for you.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you're using that you couldn't live without that helps makes your life easier, speeds up your process?
Shitload more ports on my computer.
Oh my God.
It's what sounds silly, but I don't know. I think it's worth mentioning. USB hubs,
Yeah. Yeah.
honestly, but I'd sort of discovered the hard way. Don't get a USB hub that is bus powered. Get a USB hub that has a separate power source.
That
My-
comes with the actual USB hub that you don't have to buy after the fact.
Yes. So I bought like a 9-port USB hub that came with an external power source. Pain in the ass because you got to plug it in, but this thing has been rocking for the last like 10 years
Oh,
for
nice.
me. It like has not broken. Every other like bus powered USB hub I've ever used, those things they burn out because you plug in too much shit and then they can't handle the power.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm discovering they just can't figure out how to make is a USB-C hub.
They make
Every
it.
hub I've found is like They
Oh,
turn
for more
US
USB-Cs?
yeah,
Yes. Okay.
they turn USB-C into like more USB-A or
Yeah.
USB 3, and then there's an SD port in there for some reason and an Ethernet port, and I'm like, I don't need this shit. I just
Yeah.
I need to plug in more USB-C drives.
Right. You just have to get 5 of those.
Yeah, I apparently need to network a bunch of computers together, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get more ports. I don't know. I feel like it's worth mentioning our A to D situation.
Yeah.
Both of
Even
us
though
are
I'm
using
mostly a D to A
yeah. Well, right now you're A
at
to
the
D.
moment. Yes, I am. Most of the time, I am not.
I think we're both rocking Apollo twins, right?
I have an Apollo twin and I have an Apollo 8 something.
Okay.
Let me just peek under the hood and see what I have.
Oh,
An Apollo 8.
okay.
Yeah.
That's fancy pantsy.
Yeah.
What do you do with all those those
I
inputs?
got it just to have as just like, well, just in case I have to do some remote recording, which I have used a few times
That's
actually.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trombone thing you worked on, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
that's cool. I love my little Apollo.
Yeah, it's great. So I use the Apollo as more DSP and as like a monitor controller.
Yeah, I love the big lights. I love the big knob on it. It
Hmm.
feels so good. You can dump it into mono real quick.
Do you have Apollo Twin X
Yeah,
or Apollo Twin? Yeah, that's what I have too.
the Twin X. Some decent like preamp modeling, and
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a fan of this thing.
Yeah, it works great. And the last thing I have on my list is my little MIDI keyboard that I
Yeah.
use not creatively, but for vocal tuning. So I can just plunk out melodies and be like, is that what they should be singing? You know, because sometimes I feel like it's hard to hear it in Melodyne. And so I'll be like, is it this note or this note?
Oh, so like, do you like run it through like an instrument track in Pro Tools?
Yeah, I just have like the MIDI grand or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But I just bought actually Main Stage and I'm trying just so I can have that on all the time
Okay.
for $30. It used to be included, but now I have to pay $30 for it.
$30 a month?
No, just one
Just
time.
once. Okay.
Yeah. I know, isn't it crazy that you have to ask that question now?
It's annoying that I have to ask that question. I feel like it's unfortunately not crazy.
Yeah. Right. And I use it for I transcribe lead sheets sometimes. I'm not
Okay.
great at it, but I can do it.
Okay.
And I can just use it in Sibelius to, you know, put melodies and stuff down, put chords down.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got a 61 key here because I don't know, honestly, because I wanted to really try to get into music production, which I still really want to try to get into. But I really love having a few octaves to work with. I had a 25 key thing before,
Yeah.
and
It's very limiting.
yeah, for what you're using it for, that's what it's perfect for.
Yeah.
I kind of thought like, oh, like I'm smart enough, I'm clever enough. If I want to, build a bigger chord, I know how to like go up and down the octave. I'll just like record over it, just like build it and build it as I'm. I can't be creative on a 25 key
Right.
because I don't know, I just need more. So I got a 61 key and I love it.
Great.
Got a little pedal for it, but I don't use it at all for any of the work I do. Honestly, it's mostly for fun. I'll just open up Logic and open up a piano and I'll just sort of like play on it for a while. When I was waiting
Tickle
for
the
you to,
ivories.
yeah, when I was waiting for you to get on today, right? Like before you were ready, I was just playing something. Uh, it's like if I have my mic muted in a Zoom meeting, like for work or something like that, and like they're talking about stuff that doesn't concern me, I'll just be like playing piano.
Yeah.
So I love having this thing. It's great. I can't recommend a professional reason to have one if you're a Pro Tools recorder or mixer, I guess.
Right. Oh, I was actually starting to use it with I was starting to like build my own sample libraries for things that have been
Okay.
recorded already. There's this application called Decent Sampler,
Okay.
and it's a free sampler. And this guy has actually a really great YouTube page. He like finds all these like quirky like old keyboards, and he fixes them, and then he samples them. right? And then it's
Okay.
his program is Decent Sampler, and he'll give like a free version of the sample of whatever he fixed, and then he'll there's one that you could buy. I started using my keyboard to do that stuff, which is was really cool, and I just didn't get into it enough to like really kind of like carry that inertia, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
did a couple of things with like glockenspiel, hand claps, some like hand percussion stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just like stopped because it's like it is a little involved, but like once you get in the flow of it, it's not that complicated.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, check out, and it's just like it's kind of like a free version of like Contact.
Yeah.
It's, you know, because you have to pay what $400 or $500, and they have a really cool sampler in there that you could really do some cool things with. But it costs a lot of money, and Decent Sampler is free, and it's very cool.
I'm into it.
So
I
yeah,
got
your
it open
homework
right here.
tonight: check out Decent Sampler, the plugin, and
But
also check out the guy's YouTube page.
it's gonna
It's
make
very
me
good.
put in my email address first. I'm doing it anyways. Tyler, I signed up for Tape Op and they have still not sent me a magazine.
I
I
think
got
you should
access.
write them. Write
I got
Larry
access
Crane
to
and say, Larry,
Larry. I got access to the digital version, but things to install. There it is. All right, I now have decent samplers somewhere in my computer.
yeah. And there's a lot of good tutorials on how to make your first sample library. It's actually really cool how to do it. It's really cool.
I dig it.
Yeah. Talking about USB hubs, I think mine just
You didn't get that
shit
external
the bed.
powered one, did you?
No, but it's just for my mouse. I would be like thinking like, well, it should just work, but no, it just broke.
Luckily, you have every keyboard shortcut under the fucking sun. So
Who needs a mouse? I'm gonna chuck this ball across the room.
now you can. We do a test at our school where the students aren't allowed to use a mouse. We have a no mouse day.
Nice. That's awesome.
I don't do it, so I'm not sure of the specifics of it, but I know that it happens.
Is it for certain classes, or is it just like all day, every class? Like,
It's like a Pro Tools class.
I
that
see, I see.
You know, I had that idea at one point, but it turns out somebody else was already doing it.
I still think is it your final or your midterm? I
My
forget.
midterm.
Fucking best. We were just talking about work dreams, and I've had work dreams where it's like I'm at the studio and I'm trying to get a vocal mic working, and I'm in the studio that I'm familiar with, and nothing works. I'm like, what's going on? And I feel like that's what the kids that fail your midterm feel like.
The best is when they turn around and they look at me like something's broken, right? And I'm looking at them, shaking my head. I'm like, nope, it's on my schedule. I know when
Yeah.
it's happening. It's gonna be right after AES. Are you going to AES?
Every year I say that I'm going to, and I find a reason not to go. I don't know.
Tyler-
I really do need to go.
Tyler, you should go so that I could see your pretty face.
I know. My clean shaven face. When is it this year? Do you know?
I do. Let me look it up. It is October. It's early. It is October 8th, 9th, and 10th. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
They can't book it out on the weekends anymore, huh?
They
Or was it
don't.
always during the week?
No, so it was typically Wednesday and then it was like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm not sure why it got shifted to where it did, but now it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think they do some extra stuff maybe Friday, but I think it's
That
not
you have to like buy
extra.
tickets for kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I think it's the like this competitions or something maybe. I
Okay.
don't know. I'm not sure. I could
I
be.
just put it in our calendar.
I will probably be there.
Yeah, I'm going to really try hard this year to make it. I
I
mean,
always
I've
like
had
going.
really good excuses in the past, like, you know, newborns and stuff like that. But
Yeah. I like going. It's a good chance to like talk with friends and see old colleagues and stuff.
yeah,
and
for sure.
Check
I
out
mean,
the
I'm
tech.
so into it.
Listen to $1,200 headphones and, question my life choices again.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah. So that's our tech. That's what we're working with every day.
Yeah, what are you guys working with?
Let
What
us
can't you
know.
live without?
At least Pro Tools wise.
Yeah, right. Or music
Let us
production
know.
wise. Yeah, let us
Yeah.
know.
Tyler,
Luke,
I will see you next time.
see ya.
Thanks for listening. Please don't forget to subscribe. We put out new episodes every other Thursday. If you liked what you heard, take a second to give us a review. Every review helps new listeners find us. If you'd like to support us, you can find us on Patreon. We have some perks for our new subscribers and plans for more as we continue and grow. If you'd like to join the conversation, find us on Facebook or Instagram by searching Mixed to Tape Podcast. If you'd like to contact us, write us at mixedtotapepodcast@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear your questions. Thanks, and we hope to see you next time.